Well, we've got a book signing coming up by a Lima native, graduate from Lima Central Catholic. He lives in Columbus now and is an author and musician. Joining us today is Robert Gerard Hunt, and thanks for joining us.
Well, thank you, Holly. It's great to be back on WLIO after more than half a century when I last appeared in the birthday chair with Easter Stringer.
Oh, my. Well, it's been a while. Good to have you back on then. But it's different than grabbing pennies out of the jar. What you're doing now is writing books, and this is your third book, right? So tell us about it.
It is. This one's really unusual. It's a double narrative told in alternating chapters. And the inner narrative is just a bonkers time travel tale involving the twin scientists named the Christ brothers, and they travel back in time and have various misadventures. It's highly satirical and very funny. And this inner narrative is actually being written by the protagonist of the outer narrative. And that protagonist, that's realistic fiction, contemporary fiction, and it's funny and sad, all the things that are real life, but they influence each other. So the events that happen to the protagonist in the main narrative influence what he's writing, and that in turn influences what happens in his real life.
Okay, St. Leslie and the Martyr's Wall. So is it confusing then since you're doing those chapters differently, or do you think it all comes together nicely and people will really enjoy it?
It was confusing to organize it. I had to come up with a spreadsheet to make everything work. Had to be pretty tightly plotted, but it's a pretty easy read. I think it's easy for the reader to follow along and pretty enjoyable.
All right. So it sounds like this might be a good summer read. If you've said several times it's enjoyable, kind of funny. So this sounds like a really good book to read for the summer.
It would be. It's a good, lighthearted, quick read.
Mm-hmm. All right. So let's talk about some of your other books, too, because I assume you might have them at the signing. So a little bit different.
Yeah, the first book that I wrote is actually young adult historical fiction called Nor the Arrow That Flies by Day. And it concerns Harper's Ferry in 1859 and what it would have been like to have been a child living at that time when a historically important event happens. You know, you would never see it coming, and everything changes after that. The second book is called You'll Probably Need Stitches, and it's a collection of memoirs, personal essays about growing up, lots of Lima stuff in there, plus some assorted, varied fiction pieces at the end.
So 3 books, that's quite impressive. Did you imagine this is where your author career was going, that it'd be this many? And I'm sure you probably have something else in your head working out.
It's something that I've always wanted to do, and it's only lately that I've started to pull a lot of the writing that I've done together. I hope to put out a lot more, but you know, the industry has changed quite a lot to allow someone like myself to get my work out there. So that's been very gratifying.
All right, so you are coming back to town on June 15th, 2 to 4 at the Rescued Vintage. You're going to have a book signing, so tell us more about that, what your dreams are for that occasion.
Yeah, well, Rescued Vintage, it's a great new business. Jill Herndon is the owner, and it's down on South Dixie Highway. She's got this wonderful place that has a little bit of everything in it. It's kind of like a Harry Potter tent. You walk in and there's so much more there than you expect that there would be. And even though she has such a wide variety of things that she's selling there, everything from antiques to handcrafted items to candy, it all works. And it kind of reminded me of my book, St. Leslie and the Martyr's Wall. It's got all this stuff in it that would seem to be unrelated, but it all comes together, kind of like a well-plumbed kitchen sink.
And so will you read a little bit from the book, or just the book signing and talk with folks?
Yeah, I'll be reading a bit from the new book, perhaps a Lima-related chapter from the previous book, and then, of course, signing anything anyone wants to have signed.
And it'll be good to talk to you. People who have like maybe seen you before or know you, so it'll be kind of a fun reunion to have people new and old coming to the store.
Oh, it's really exciting to be coming back to Lima and to be reuniting with people I haven't seen in quite a long time.
All right, that's awesome. Well, great things happening for you, Robert. And again, that book signing is June 15th. Thank you very much for joining us today.
Thanks so much, Holly.
All right, don't go away. New Edition continues in a moment.